What's going on? Welcome to the Executives Corner. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Man, it feels good to be back live with you guys. Last week, we took a week off. I think we had some events. I don't remember what was going on. What's up, Top? I see you. What's going on? Nikki B. How y'all doing? Happy Thursday. Captain Jerry, all the way from Turks and Caicos. Man, I could use a vacation about now. I don't know about y'all. But that summer's starting to hit just a little bit. Let us know what wins you have in the chat. Drop your gratitudes in the chat. TSC trying to come on. While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and send this out. But yeah, let us know what's been going on. We're, already almost through Q2. How those goals are looking that you've been working on for 2023. We're still using, oh, there he is. What's going on?
What up? What up? What up?
What
What's
up?
cooking?
Oh, everything. I was just saying how we're still leveraging the 12-week year in our business, and I'm using it in my personal life, and it definitely has been allowing me to stay on track and be intentional about the things that I'm focusing on. With my hand in so many different things, it definitely helps, just really create that synergy and that focus around what I'm doing for these next or current 12 weeks. Let's see. Sandra says 2 wins. Launch VIP offer today. Signed up to be coached by Chief Eli. Ooh, let's go. She's getting that fitness. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's see. Who else? Go ahead and drop those gratitude. Grateful for Coach T. Yep, me too. Grateful for Coach T. Let's see. He was having some trouble, so he's gonna go ahead and work that out over there. Nikki B said, "I just finished reading the 12-week year." Okay, let's go. What were your thoughts on it? And when are you starting your first 12-week year? D-Lo, I see you. Thanks for hopping on. Thanks for hopping on. I'm super excited about today. We do have a very special guest, Dr. Sheri Riley, who has had an amazing career in the entertainment space, who is a high-level performance coach and speaker. And T and I met her through the Extreme Execution community probably like a year or two ago. It's been a little minute. She spoke on the stage with ET himself at the Atlanta 120 event. So, yeah, she's got some amazing info, knowledge going on. So, super excited to have her on, and yeah, just get this thing rocking and rolling. I don't know. It looks like I'm hanging out today by myself. I don't know what's going on with T and his service, but we'll give him. Okay, there he is. There he is. Let's go ahead and get him in here. But yeah, keep it going in the comments. Let me know what you're grateful for or a win that you have. What's going on, Marcus? I see you. Oh, there he is.
Huh.
There he
Yeah,
is.
yeah. We just trying to get Sherry onto the right
Oh
live
yeah,
over here.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I do see her on. What's going on before I bring her on? How you feeling?
Man, I'm fantastic. Another day in the land of paradise, man. It's been awesome last couple of weeks. So just been super busy. So it's been
Yeah,
simply amazing.
I, I can
It's good
tell.
to have people that you rock with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I can tell. I haven't been hearing from you as much as I normally do, so that's how I know. That's how I
Real
know.
talk. Real talk. Real talk. Real talk.
Yeah,
All right, man.
absolutely.
Where's Sherry? Let's get her up on here real soon.
Yep, she is here. Letting her in right now. Anything that you're grateful for or a win that you have?
Man, What's up?
Hey,
What's up,
there she is.
Hey,
Jerry?
hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, we, yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Wonderful.
loud and
Hey,
clear. How you doing today?
I am good. I'm good. We're kicking off my husband's birthday. His birthday is Saturday, so we are kicking it off tonight. So you can see I'm in the
Yeah,
in the bit exponential living. This is the and.
let's
Yeah.
go. Oh, we gonna
Okay.
talk about it. We gonna talk about it. But let us give you a proper introduction and go ahead and share your bio and just a little bit of background information about you. Dr. Riley has spent 20 years creating marketing strategies for global superstars and companies like Usher, Tony Braxton, Converse, and Warner Media, just to name a few. Now as an empowerment speaker, high performance life coach, and award-winning author of Exponential Living, stop spending 100% of your time on 10% of who you are. Ooh, Sheri helps professional athletes, entertainers, corporate executives, and entrepreneurs grow personally and dominate professionally. Sheri speaks and trains at companies like the NBA, Chicago Bears, WNBA's, Indiana Fever, the Coca-Cola Company, and JP Morgan Chase on how to implement her 9 principles of exponential living to enhance personal and professional development, leadership, and productivity. Let's go ahead and show Miss Sheri some love in the comments.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt,
Ooh, that
no
was a
doubt.
mouthful.
And she's a Delta. You know what
Ooh,
I'm saying? Come on. Hey, Sherry, where'd you pledge at?
University of Louisville, Xi chapter.
Okay,
ah,
okay.
So
How
we
many was on your
actually
line?
two.
Two. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
so that's why y'all rock so hard.
Yeah. So my chapter, we just celebrated 101 years.
Wow.
wow.
And my fans and I crossed on our charter day. So April 15th, I celebrated 34 years in the most illustrious sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
That part. That
Oh,
part.
there
That
it is.
part.
Yes,
There.
That
I
part.
love
yes.
it.
Hey,
I
Sherry.
love it.
Ash and I do want to thank you, though, humbly, for taking time out of your schedule, especially on this
Yes.
weekend of your husband's birthday. So, let's get to it because we really want to, kind of delve into your story a little bit and then, just kind of talk about that exponential living, in a way that can really impact the lives of others.
Yeah, absolutely. So, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started in the marketing and strategy development space? Oh,
Look like she's spinning just a little bit.
yeah, I think she dropped us. Okay, I hit accept.
That's all right, guys. So if you're tuning in live or watching the replay, be sure to take out some notes or anything that you may be able to cross collateral with in some form of fashion. So this would be a awesome time for you to do that.
Yep, absolutely.
She's still spinning?
Yeah, I'm trying to get her back in. It may be the service on her end. Oh, did it let me back in? Okay, I think she's coming in right now because the request went away. Um, yeah, shout out to Yaya's Place. If you guys aren't following us yet, go ahead and hit that drop down right at the title of How to Live an Exponential Life. Make sure to lock in with myself and Tyrell and hit
Yeah.
that follow button.
So while she's coming back, what does the exponential line? There
Oh,
she
There
is. There she
it
is.
is.
There she
There it
is.
is. We just had to add some
technology.
suspense to it.
That's it.
We just had to add a
That's
little
it.
suspense.
You know what
Okay.
was crazy? It was like everything was in stereo. Like I could hear you guys doubled and then it kicked me out. But I'm back. I'm back. Very
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Well,
So,
let's get it rocking and rolling. Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead, Ash.
yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about your background and how you got started in the marketing and strategy development space?
That is such a long, loaded question, but I will make it short and simple. I'm literally from a small town in Kentucky. I always knew that I wanted to work in the music industry. But being in Kentucky at that time, there was no music industry in Atlanta.
Mm,
But after like 8 years, a whole lot of no's, because I literally, when I got to college, a professor said, know what you want to do, find people in that industry, and ask them to do a 15-minute informational interview with you. So I literally, for 4.5 years, sent resumes, like type resumes, not computer,
mm,
typewriter
mm.
resumes, and phone calls for about 4.5 years. I did about 20 to 25 calls a week, 20 to 25 resumes a week. Nobody
Wow.
took my calls. No, not one person took my calls. Um, but fast forward, I continued to press and stress. I eventually moved to Cleveland. I met Gerald Levert, and
Okay.
he had an opening at his company. I started doing marketing for him, did that for a few years. And hey, Jewel. Hey, Jewel. I did that for a few years, and then literally LaFace Records called, and that's when I joined the team as doing the marketing for Usher, Tony Braxton, TLC, Outkast. And so here I was 9 years later,
Yeah.
living my dream.
Wow.
Were they already there, or did you help kind of uh, help in their development?
So the company had been there a few years. I was still one of the early hires.
Okay.
So when I came, I guess um, Damien, Dame had come out. It was at the beginning of Usher. TLC's first album had come out, and Tony Braxton's. No, I started with Tony on her first album.
Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, so I started pretty much in the beginning.
Okay. So these are actually really, really amazing artists. I want to ask, I I want to ask you just in terms of from a professional level, like who was one of the better artists to work with from a professional level?
When you say professional, what do you mean? Like in what way?
Just all out, like driven, like they were driven
Mhm.
to be great.
Well, I will say working at LaFace Records, I mean, you can tell by the success of our artists like L.A. Reid and Babyface, and then our amazing AR team. They really wanted stars, and stars is not just, you know, what it is today. I mean, back then you had to have that star
Hmm.
quality. And so all the artists at LaFace, they had that star quality. They had that go get it, from Pink to, the artists I mentioned, Outkast. They all had vision. Like the one thing I loved about doing marketing at LaFace was I always felt it was my responsibility to find and highlight and help the artist discover what their true gift was.
Hmm.
And then my responsibility was to then bring that to the world. So every unique artist had a unique marketing strategy around them. So, for example, I would never market Usher the way I marketed Donnell Jones and vice versa because they had two different gifts, two different artistry. And so, like when I first met Donnell Jones, we were at a high, like a 30th floor in a New York building. And Donnell literally went, and the entire time I was sitting at the table and he was sitting in the window, looking out the window in New York. He said probably 3 words, like he didn't
Yeah.
talk. And so I knew I could never just have him go to radio interviews. One thing about Donnell was he was a gifted writer. He was a phenomenal producer. He had the most beautiful voice. And what I realized with Donnell, his voice had this unique quality that he sounded exactly in live how he did on the record, which is uncanny.
Mm.
Most people don't. He sounded exactly the same.
Wow.
And so in our marketing meetings, I called him the human dad. I was like, that's when, it was basically what you recorded music on. And then Shanti Das, we collaborated, and we came up with the idea of one for the car, one one for the crib, because we knew it was all about his music. And so our marketing and promotion campaign was 2 CDs, one for the car, one for the crib, because it was all about his music. So, it was those things that I love. So I've always worked with gifted artists, even now today, Jewel Lloyd, who's on here, who's one of the top WNBA stars in the league.
Hey, Jewel.
Phenomenal. Yes.
What's up, Jill?
Macy Barber, who's a #9 top UFC fighter. She has that it. She has that it. So I've been blessed to work with artists that bring that to the table.
Yeah, and I want to go back real quick because I don't want us to skip over something that you mentioned in terms of your journey of getting to that space, right? You said for 4 years you sent out resumes and you called people and you didn't get a response. Like, because we have a crowd of entrepreneurs here, solopreneurs, business owners. Like, how did you what was it that was inside of you to really not give up and not take all the no's after the first year or after the second year? Like, what mindset were you in to really just push past that and know that this is going to happen one day?
Yeah, I'm driven. Like, I believed in myself. I believed that all I needed was one yes. So I never got caught up in the no's. I still don't get caught up in the no's. I've always believed.
Come on, teach on that.
Yeah. I only need one yes. And so every phone call was another potential opportunity for the yes. If I didn't make the phone call, I was guaranteed to have a no. But if I made the phone call, and then every opportunity, even if it's a no, if you're able to learn from it, then you're getting closer to your yes. So what happened, I'll give you a great example. All those phone calls that I made, everything works for your good. So fast forward, I'm now working at Treble Productions, which is Gerald Levert's management company. And at this time, the one person that I was like modeling my career behind was Sylvia Rohn. And she was the highest ranking African-American female in the music industry at that time and still is to this day. And her VP of marketing, her VP of promotions was Richard Nash. So when I was making phone calls as a young college graduate working part-time for Gerald Levert, they would now take my calls. Well, the reason Richard took my call is because my name was familiar. They thought that I was this veteran music executive because they had seen my name so much on their message pad.
Yeah, you got the
there was this subliminal, like, oh, we know her. They had no idea that I was this young college student. So even that, because I made those calls, it was still something that worked for my benefit.
Hey, that's fantastic. Let me ask you something, because Ash and I always talk about having elite routines that support your vision. Did you always have a routine in college that helped you? And if so, who helped you do that? And or who did you mimic? Because that type of stuff, yes, you can be talented, but then there's also routines to help us really scale to the level of eliteness.
Yeah, I did. I laughed when you asked because I had this motto routine of I would work hard so I could play harder. And what that meant for me was Sunday through Thursday, I was all about my grades. Like, I was all about the schoolwork. I was all about whatever I had to do on campus as a student. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I was kicking it, right? So I've always believed in you work hard so you can, play harder. And so out of that, I learned it, honestly, from losing. I lost my scholarship because I was kicking it. But I knew I had to get a degree, and I knew my parents couldn't pay for it. And so I had to, every semester, find ways to pay for school. And a lot of those opportunities were about how I showed up. So there was one program at school that if you studied 5 hours a week and got a 3.0, they'd pay your tuition. So I had to create that habit and that system of studying 5 hours a week to get the scholarship. There was another program that if you do this consistently, you get the scholarship. And so it began to develop that muscle. But I really believe a lot of that came from me being an athlete. I played softball, I played basketball. I think every
Mm,
female should play some sport. Every male should play some sport, because you do learn the consistency and the rhythm of consistency when you play sports at a young age.
yeah, that's good. That's good. So, what inspires you to transition from the marketing and strategy development space to becoming an empowerment speaker and high performing life coach?
Yes, so I actually at LaFace, I crashed and I burned. So I that was my that's why I resigned from there. Then I
When you
started.
say crash and burn, can you define that?
Yes, the reason I do the work I do now is because I literally was spending 100% of my time on 10% of who I was and expecting
Mm,
100% of my fulfillment.
That's
And
good.
I thought I
mm-hmm.
was an anomaly until I realized there was others out there, living that same, you're that high performer. But the detour I took between resigning from LaFace and the work I do now was for 17 years, I owned a strategic consulting firm, where we did marketing communications, um, partnership brokering, talent procurement. I love that. I did that. I had that company 17 years. I thought I would do it forever. But I began to really realize that this lifestyle of exponential living that I was living, really was something that was helping others. And as I continued to really curate the 9 principles of exponential living, as I continue to share those principles with my other high performing friends and colleagues, and they started learning and growing and living in the power of peace, clarity, and courage, um, that was really what
Mm,
guided purpose for me. And if I can go real deep for a moment, honestly, when I left Face and started Glue, God, in my prayer time, God really spoke to me that Glue, the marketing company, was a bridge,
mm,
for what He's really
mm.
purposed for my life, and that's what I'm living now with exponential living.
That's good.
Okay. Okay. So exponential living, like, did it start out the gate as exponential, or like, where did that come from? Where was that inspired? Like, how did you resonate with your authenticity? And the reason why I ask
Mhm.
is because you have a keen element with people. Like you can sense you have a genuine love
Mhm.
for people.
Yes, yes. I do. When I resigned from the Face Records, that was when exponential living, like the actual words, in that prayer time, and in that crash and burn, when I literally crashed and burned, like I literally went to church, came home, and sit in the dark for 5 days
Mm,
in my apartment,
mm,
and in that process, the three things came to me: exponential living, stop spending 100% of your time on 10% of who you are, and that the journey to that was 9 principles. Now
Mm,
it took about 14 years from that revelation, into the actual birth of exponential living as the book, the brand, and the message. But those three things came to me, and when I resigned from LaFace.
mm. That's good.
And
Uh,
I see Karan Riley. Hey, Karan, I see Karan on here, and
hey, Karan.
it was actually his wife, Terry Vaughn, that was one of what I call the midwives of exponential living, because Terry and I literally would pray every Friday, and in those prayer
mm,
times, I would begin what I now know as coaching,
mm,
and really,
mm.
she really trusted me with her journey, and so. I give Terry, Rashawn Ali,
Come on, Terry.
Terry
Come on,
Yeah,
Vaughn.
come on.
So Karan, your wife, love you
Karan, come on,
forever.
come on.
yeah, yeah. I love it. I love it. If you guys have any questions for Sheri, please go ahead and drop them in the questions box, and make sure that you're following her. If you're getting, we got some love for you in the chat. If you're getting some gems, getting some value, go ahead and hit that drop down at the top and make sure that you're following her. I want to go back just a little bit and identify when you're working with some of these entertainers or these athletes, when we're talking about personal development or professional development, like what were some of the challenges that they were experiencing? Because you had mentioned, yourself not being an anomaly, and like, man, there's other people out here like this.
Yeah, one of the greatest commonalities with high performers, whether you're a professional athlete, an entertainer, a corporate executive,
Mm-hmm.
an entrepreneur, one of the consistent realities that we face is we're driven, right? We have the drive, but a lot of times we're not confident. And so
Mm-hmm.
there's this gap between our drive and our confidence. Drive is what pushes us to achieve. Confidence is who we are when we get there.
Mm.
And so when we don't focus on that personal development, then we lose. My light went off. Then we
That's all good. You're
lose.
good.
Yes. Then we lose. This is exponential living, trying to be there with my husband and make sure I'm honoring his time. But when we have that drive, but we don't have the confidence, when we don't focus on that personal development, what happens is our skill and talent can take us to levels of success that our character can't sustain. I'm going to say that again.
Yeah,
Our
go ahead.
skill and our talent can take us to levels of success that our character can't sustain. And so we have to be intentional about that personal development. And so when you look at a lot of high performers, you see that commonality of why would they make that dumb decision? Why would they self-sabotage? Why would they? Well, the reality is just because you've become successful externally doesn't mean you're grown and matured internally. And so you have this level of success, but you're empty. And so many high performers genuinely believe that if they accomplish greatness externally, that by osmosis they gain peace and freedom internally. And that's not always the case. And so we really focus on how to give them the tools for that peace, that clarity, and that courage.
And that's so good. Just because I'm thinking about, entertainers, like, and the flight assessment, right? We all have these 4 different styles and behaviors, but people who are on the main stage, they may have some of that higher flight attendant, right? And one of the top 2 challenges when it comes to that flight attendant behavior is the care for other people's opinions. And so you can just see how that they can have that internal battle if they don't have that confidence in themselves, if they don't have, that structure or, that routine that helps them build themselves up to where they're looking to get that from externally.
Yeah, and a lot of times, even if you're a high D, and you feel like the more you accomplish, the more that you do, the more problems you solve, the more success you have, the more you press through, that you're going to at some point get to a level of personal success or personal worth. And that's not the case.
Yeah.
Regardless of the personality behavior that you are, D, I, S, or C, none of them are exempt from what you need as far as your personal development, what you need, and that intentionality on developing and growing who you are.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We gotta. Oh, go ahead, T. We have a question in the chat.
Look, I mean, because everything that you're saying is so important, and when we get into these levels of success, toxic environments seems to start brewing itself. How do you protect yourself in these toxic environments, and or surround yourself with like-minded people that have similar values that you may have?
Well, the great thing is, and the challenging thing is success doesn't necessarily create the environment. As far as, no, let me say that differently. Success doesn't give you decision-making ability. If you had toxic people around you before you were successful, you have toxic people around you when you become successful. If you gravitate to chaos and confusion before people know your name, you gravitate to chaos and confusion when people know your name. And so what happens is we think it's the success when really that was what their environment was before we knew their name.
Yeah, that's good.
And so that's one of the reasons I try and we really work hard to work with athletes and entertainers at the beginning of their career to help them in their decision making. Because when you look at, let's say tonight, right now, the NFL draft is going on right now, right? And with those young men that are about to be drafted, there's certain truths that they're going to have to understand along the way. They need the best financial advisors. They need the best accountants. They need the best nutritionists. They need the best publicists. They need the best manager. They need the best agent, blah, blah, blah. What's 99% of the time not on that list is the best personal development coach.
Yeah.
And we all know that all of those external things function based on how they show up. And so we're working so hard to change the narrative so that we have the most critical piece on their team from the beginning, so that they don't get to that place of crisis. Because when you are excelling externally, success allows you to cover up those areas of immaturity and those areas of growth internally. And so to your point, T, when you are successful and you don't focus on developing your decision-making ability, your discernment in situations and circumstances, being able to set boundaries around your personal space, not knowing how to say no, not knowing how to say no, then those kind of things you're even more of a magnet for those toxic elements around you.
Yeah, that's good.
She said boundaries.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we think of boundaries as being rigid when technically it helps us conform into the better version of ourselves. And so I like how you said that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We have a question in the comments. How do you know you have the right team around you?
That's a very loaded question. I'm gonna try to answer it with as much specifics as possible. It really, your team needs to be predicated on what the goals are you're trying to accomplish. And a lot of times we'll put people around us that aren't necessary yet. So for example, if you're just starting your career and you go and you get a publicist, well, have you created enough in your career for that publicist to work with, right? Or you're starting in a space and place where you're trying to add pieces before you've actually matured or grown in that space and place. So sometimes your team can be you, the Holy Spirit, God, and Jesus, right? That could be the full team.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you need to determine your financial advisor, et cetera, your accountant, et cetera. So as far as the right team, chemistry is critical. Hey, Tiffany, chemistry is critical. Do you guys have the same ideas around character, right? Trust them. So you want to ask some of these core questions around the entities that you're working with. So I don't know if there's necessarily a package answer to that question, other than character, chemistry, and is there an alignment in the goals that you're looking to accomplish?
Yeah. What advice would you give your younger self?
Laugh more. That's the first one.
Laugh more?
Laugh more. Sheri, you're going to get there. You're going to get there. Enjoy the journey more. And then the second one was, I would have grown in my confidence sooner. I wish I saw the me I was at 20 the way I really was. I wish I saw the me I was at 16 the way I really was. I didn't see me the way I should have seen me. So I would have loved to see myself and own the confidence that I truly should have had at that time.
Yeah, that's good.
How do you stay motivated and continue to grow in your own personal and professional journey?
I've got more goals to meet, more lives to hopefully impact. I want to, my good friend John Maxwell says you can't retire from life. And so there's so many other things that I want to do and I want to accomplish. I'm constantly wanting to grow. I love what it feels like to stretch and reach a goal, stretch and reach a goal. And so I have an internal drive that just constantly goes.
Yeah.
Good.
Your husband. And please tell him thank you
Hey,
for
yes,
allowing.
and happy birthday.
Thank you. I
Yes,
will.
yes. And happy birthday. What character or value did you see in him then as well as now that makes you a better person?
He holds me accountable. Like when I was talking about just growing in your confidence, when we met, I was very successful. I had a very successful business. I had a lot of brand equity in my name. I could do anything, go anywhere, etc. And when he first met me, he would say, "Why do you walk in the room with your shoulders humped up?" And I really didn't understand what he was saying. But what he saw was with all that I had, I still never fully owned it in my confidence. And it's because I was so driven. I was so, again, drive is what
Mm-hmm.
pushes us to achieve. Confidence is who we are when we get there. And so he's always held me accountable to seeing the better me. Even today, as I'm having a rough day today, I've got a program, Power Broker Academy, that we're launching, and it's a big lift. It's an 8-week mastermind for high performers. And, I'm pressing him, whatever. And, instead of him coming like, you know what, you got this, he literally was like, okay, this, and this, and this, and this. And he was right. I didn't want to hear it, but he was right. And so he holds me accountable to the better parts of me.
Yeah. It's beautiful to see you guys. And I love the way that you love on him in public.
Mm. Yes. And it's vice versa. Yeah. We are very free in showing our appreciation and love for each other.
That's good. I know you just mentioned the masterclass that you're launching. Do you have any other upcoming projects that you would like to share?
Well, definitely powerbrokeracademy.com is where everyone can go learn more about Power Broker Academy. And then we have 6 exponential living certified coaches. We are definitely always looking to support high performers. And high performers is not a title. High performance could be a father of 3 who wants to be the best father for his children.
That's
So
good.
I say that because people always think I got to be. You just got to be wanting more in life. So we're
Mm-hmm.
always looking to support it with our coaching team. And then, I'm an empowerment speaker. So I'm always looking to hit that stage. That's what I love. So any opportunities to really pour into audiences from the stage.
That's good.
What's your favorite quote?
I have so many. I live by quotes and mantras. Ooh.
Did you say you live by mantras?
Yes. Yes, my favorite, honestly, I'm gonna be very honest. I know this is gonna sound cliche, but my favorite quote is the one that I need in that moment to motivate me and keep me going. That is honestly, because every day is today, I think it's Psalms, I can't remember, but I was like, God is our help and our deliverer. And I needed to hear that today. And that's what I've been saying all day. God is my help. He is my deliverer. Call on him. So it's a Bible verse, it's a mantra, it's a quote, whatever I need that day.
Yeah. No, that's good because we're constantly talking about mantras and quotes. And sometimes you may have one in terms of your life declaration, but sometimes it's even more important to recognize that you need to call an audible. What do I need for
Mm-hmm.
myself
Right
right
now.
now?
Right now.
Right
Yeah.
now.
Yes, yes, yes,
Good.
yes. Like I
That's
have some
good.
guiding principles. My father always said, find what you love to do and you'll never have to work. That still to this day guides me. Find what you love to do, Sheri, you'll never have to work. It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. So I have like those kind of what I call they're quotes, but they're the kind of my guiding principles. But like you said, it's what I need in that moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sheri, as we start to wind down, and I know that we want to get you back with your husband very quickly. What is your biggest goal coming up? I mean, we love you so much already, and you are admired throughout the world.
Thank you.
Yes.
What is your biggest goal right now in the next several years?
My biggest goal right now, honestly, is to make sure that my 16-year-old continues to grow into who God has purposed for her to be. That is right now, that's my most important goal.
That's good.
And with all of the struggles and challenges of just raising a teenager in the age of social media, in the age of this phone being in their hand, in the age of what they look at every day in society, and how America is crumbling for so many reasons. The challenge for a young Black girl to be confident, that is my number one goal, my number one focus right now. But the second would be with Power Broker Academy and the work that we do with high performers to really help those influencers, because they matter so much, because the influencers are the ones who are influencing. And so making sure that they understand the power of peace, clarity, and courage.
That's good.
Do you have anybody who you want to collaborate with?
Always. Always. We don't have time for my list. I make calls a day with people I want to collaborate with for Power Broker Academy. So I'm always, my company name is Glue.
Yes.
That tells you everything, right?
Yes.
Actually,
Yeah.
the tagline for my company Glue, when that was the name of the company, was developing partnerships that stick. And so
Mm,
I always believed in collaborations and partnerships.
that's good.
That's good.
We had
Yeah.
a question from earlier, which I think that sending them to the website will be able to answer. But it says, "Do you represent companies outside of the entertainment industry? If so, what is your service rate range?"
Yes. So SheriRiley.com, SheriRiley. And we work with high performers. So it's not specific to, I mean, it's not exclusive of entertainment and sports. We work with Delta Airlines, CVS Pharmacy, Coca-Cola, Warner Media, Universal Music Group. We coach the NBA coaches. We coach the, I guess it's trying to think. So yeah, so it's corporate as well as sports and entertainment, as well as politics, dignitaries. Like, it's across the board.
Yeah.
And we work with youth as well.
That's good.
And this is good. Go ahead, Ash.
Yeah. No, I just want to thank you so much for your time. I know that we personally connected, outside of this and the call, and I just appreciate you and your guidance, and just, I admire the work that you're doing, and I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to be with us tonight.
Yeah, 100%. And one last question. Two. Where can they find Exponential Living, and what is the most important lesson that you have learned throughout your career and your personal life and endeavors? Like, what's the best version of you?
Yes. So first, I want to say thank you to both of you guys. I mean, from the moment we connected through Extreme Execution, I mean, you guys have been I respect and appreciate and have learned from you guys. Ash, whenever you email me, call me, it's like, all right, let's set it up.
Yep.
And T, when I tell you, your notes on my social media pages always come at the right time. I mean, you have such a knack of right in that moment, commenting, posting, DMing, thank you. You have that gift. And I want to thank you guys for trusting me with your audience in this time. So thank you so much. Where you can find me is SheriRiley.com. That is also YouTube, Instagram. Please go follow on Instagram. Please go subscribe to YouTube. please go to LinkedIn, SheriRiley.com, DOTCOM on LinkedIn, and then Sheri Riley on Twitter. Hey, Darlene, that's my soror. She just joined. Hey,
Hey,
Darlene.
Sarah.
Yes. But what the last question you asked was, my greatest lesson, my greatest takeaway. And what that has been is to genuinely care about people. I know a lot of times we call it networking and we call it relationship building and we call it collaborations, we call it partnerships. And those are the fruits from that. But for me, the greatest gift that I've gotten in my entire career is my genuine, authentic concern, love, and care for people. Like, I genuinely care for people. And I'll tell you this quick story. I met Usher. I started working with him when he was 15. And it was me, him, and his mom. Really, that was kind of a triangle around him, really launching his career. And so we developed a genuine friendship. Like, my mother, hey, Christina, talking about our exponential living coaches. Christina is one.
Christina.
Yes. But literally for 10 years, we spent Thanksgiving together. Our families, my mom, his mom, literally, it was a family. And his mother, about literally 10 years later, she looked at me one day, and it may have been Thanksgiving, it may have been Christmas, but it was a family gathering. And she went, man, you really are who you say you are. And I'm like, Janetta, it's been 10 years. She's like, yeah, I've been waiting. I've been waiting for the real you to show up. She's like, but you really are. Like, she was like, I just knew you had to be fake. Like, no one could genuinely care, authentically care the way you do. And she was like, but you genuinely love my son. Like, it has nothing to do with him, the artist. Like, you genuinely love him as a person. You genuinely love my family. Like, so you really are who you are. This was 10 years.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the greatest gifts, because that has been my greatest takeaway, is just showing up authentically as this Midwestern small town girl who just dreams. And I authentically am living my dream.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, what's really interesting is Coach Ash reminds me of a younger version of you. I don't know your younger version, but to me, she has the authenticity of growing and growing pains. And sometimes we have to set those frameworks and those boundaries to protect us from ourselves,
Yeah.
so that we can grow into the very best version of ourselves. So,
Yeah. Let me tell
yeah.
you,
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I'm here
Yes.
for it. Thank you very much.
Well,
Okay.
you are on your way, because I promise you, one of the greatest gifts you can give someone who mentors you is to do the work whenever we have calls. And every time we've had a call, you've done the work. Every time you've come back with this, and this. Every time you've come back with, okay, I think I got it, but let me make sure. Every time you've come back with the praise report and testimony of what you've done. And that's the greatest gift you can give someone, is when they invest their time, that you come back with a return on that investment. And you've done it every time. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you both.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's good. All right. Well, Coach As, we don't want to hold Sheri up.
Yes.
We want her to get to that time. And please give our thankful happy birthday and all of the above. You know, we really, really appreciate you and your time.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. And for everyone who took the time to be present with us tonight,
Yes.
the greatest asset, the greatest gift you can give someone is your time. It's something you can never get back. And so I thank you for your time this evening. And I appreciate you guys allowing me to share with you all.
Yeah, absolutely.
We appreciate you more.
Have a good
Absolutely. Thank you.
night.
You too. Take care, Sheri. Thank you
Bye-bye.
to everybody for hopping on every Thursday, 5 p.m. PST. You can catch us here at the Executives Corner Just, really looking to bring you guys education, support, help, allowing you guys to have more breakthroughs than breakdowns, and really living that exponential life like Sheri talked about. So thank you guys so much for hopping on.
Yeah. Hey, Ash, give me one thing that you got from her talk tonight.
Man, just really being consistent, right? So when she was talking about the 4 years and the cause and the no's and all the no's leading to yeses, I'm in that space right now where I just continue to refine and refine, and every no gets closer to that yes. So that was definitely one of the biggest things that spoke to me.
Yeah, that was
What
good.
about you?
Definitely setting boundaries, like
Mm-hmm.
setting the framework of where you and we are going in life. So it's like setting those boundaries and then keep persevering and pressing on every single thing that you're working on. I like how she said drive and then self-confidence, like showing up so that you can show out
Mm-hmm.
in some form or fashion. So that's definitely a beauty. So shout out to Sherry. Really,
Yeah, that
I
was
appreciate it.
that was phenomenal. So many nuggets dropped. So make sure that if you didn't catch all of it, definitely go ahead and catch the replay. Let us know in the comments, hashtag replay. And yeah, we just appreciate you all, and we will see you next week.
See you next week. Peace out. Hey.
Let's win.